If you're thinking about studying engineering in 2026, then you have probably heard stuff like artificial intelligence is going to replace engineers or are gradually replacing engineers. Or you have probably heard stuff like engineering is too hard. Or you even wonder sometimes if engineering is worth it because the market is really saturated. You have probably heard stuff that people are talking that might discourage you to study engineering. Well, people have different opinions for different reasons. But before we dive into the core of this video, I am going to introduce myself for those who are watching me for the first time. Hello everyone, my name is Goda and I am an electrical and electronics engineer. I am also a chemical engineer. So over the 7 years of my life, I studied electrical and electronics engineering in Cameroon and moved to Finland and studied chemical engineering. So, as someone that has been able to experience two engineering backgrounds in two continents and also two different countries with two different systems of education, I am here to give you my honest opinion about what engineering is all about, my opinion about AI taking engineers in jobs in the future, and also how you can choose the right engineering career for yourself, the right engineering program to study in for yourself. If this is what you are looking for, then you are in the right place because I am going to give you my honest opinion and the stuff that I have been able to experience in this past year. So adding to that, I've also mentored 200 plus students in different engineering fields, some of which are engineers in different places in the world and are doing well for themselves. So I'm very proud of that. So the popular question is engineering still worth it? My answer is yes. And this is probably the most exciting time to even study engineering in the first place because you get to have a lot of diverse specialties that you can specialize in and you get a job in that particular aspect. Artificial intelligence replacing engineers, I will actually say that that is not true because one thing I know is that as engineers, we have a platform to continuously study. We have platforms that have diverse skills. And when you start engineering school, one of the many skills that you normally learn is problem solving skills because through projects that you have to do in school and stuff like that. So it gives you the mentality to continuously learn. So graduating from engineering school does not always mean that your career or the story you're studying has ended. It just means that you have gotten all the theory that your teachers give you back in school. You have gotten all that theoretical knowledge, and right now it's the time for you to apply it in your day-to-day life, to apply it in your career. It just means that we are now supposed to choose a particular specialty that we really love for ourselves and focus on it. For example, I am an electrical engineer. So if I am going to build a career in electrical engineering, I would be focused on power systems engineering. Probably I would try to look for tools that are related to electrical design if that's what I want to focus in electrical design. So I will look for tools that are related to electrical design like AutoCAD. I learn how to design electrical circuit and industrial systems, schematic diagrams. I'll learn how to do designs and master the tools and everything. And with the introduction of artificial intelligence, it helps me to be able to ask questions. It's more like a teacher. I enrolled in electrical engineering in 2018, and it was one of my toughest year in engineering because I had no idea what I was doing and I had no one to talk to. I had no mentor to talk to. I had no senior that I could actually say I look up to speak to about my situation. One thing about engineers is that they are mostly introverts, and since they are introvert, most of them keep their thoughts to themselves. Even if they are failing, they keep it to themselves. So in the era of artificial intelligence, they get the opportunity to ask questions to AI, to bring ideas that they have in their mind and get a second opinion from AI. If they are not comfortable seeking advice from seniors, they can always communicate with AI. And that is why I feel like that this is the right time for anyone who wants to study engineering to study engineering. I mean, the field is too diverse, the career opportunities are many, and based on your value that you are able to give out there, you definitely get a job. There are a lot of people that have never been in tech. There are a lot of people that have never been in engineering, but they are trying to make use of the engineering tools that are available out there, learn the basics, learn some of those skills, and you know, apply value to the job market, and that's how they get hired. So if you're scared of AI taking the engineering jobs in future, then I think that you should not be scared. think it should instead encourage you to keep strategizing your study plan, make good plans for yourself. You have to know the career path that you want to pursue for yourself, and make a decision how you are going to build that skill set. Another popular fear that a lot of people have in getting into engineering, or those who are into engineering, is that engineering is all about mathematics. Let me tell you a quick story about myself. So, before entering into engineering school in 2018, I was a very good student in maths. I was an A grade student. I scored A in mathematics. I scored B plus in physics, advanced level. So I was really good. I even did further maths and I had a B plus. So I was that good in maths. And when I enrolled in engineering, normally engineering was never my first choice, but I still got to get in because when I wrote the entrance examination to study engineering, I passed and I got in. So my first year of studying engineering was quite difficult for me, and that's like I said, that was the most challenging year of my life in terms of academics, because I've always had it easy in all my academic phases of my life. Things have always been easier for me to master. But the first year of my university was the toughest year of my life. It was so difficult for me to master stuff. I failed mathematics, CAs. That's CAs, depending on where you're studying. The first test they give us for mathematics, I actually failed it. Now, I was someone that was really, really good in math, but you tend to. I'm not saying that math, engineering math is difficult or something. I'm just saying that being good or not being good in math does not actually guarantee that you make it in engineering school. There are people that were not good in math as I was, but made it in engineering school and passed the mathematics in good grades, and they were doing so well. And there was me that thought that I was actually good in math, but there were a lot of factors that made me to do very bad in engineering maths when I got into engineering school. So it is not always a factor for you to think that okay, I'm not good in mathematics, so this career path is not for me. If you're someone that is struggling in math, it's something you can always learn if you want to, and you can still make it in the career with flying colors, believe me. Yeah. I think the biggest difference between engineering maybe in 2015 or 2016 and engineering now is that even though I wasn't studying engineering in 2016, but I think the biggest difference is that in those days, your degree alone already kind of showed that you are qualified to work as an engineer. So in some companies, they can actually just hire you based on your degree. But the level of competition we have now in the engineering career, it doesn't always need just your degree, which means that if you are in school and you're trying to build a career in engineering, you should already have at the back of your mind that whatever you're learning in school is not enough. Believe me, I've studied it twice. I've done engineering twice, and I can tell you for sure that whatever you're learning in school is not enough. As an engineering student that is trying to like go through, maybe you're an aspiring engineering student, you're someone already in the engineering school, and if you haven't started doing this, I want you to start learning skills. And your skills should not be random. Your skills should be based on what you want to focus in future. How do you know what you want to focus in the future? You can go to maybe LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is usually the first step to stop in. You go to LinkedIn and you search for jobs that are related to your field of engineering. Let me say electrical engineering. If I am interested in electrical designs or renewable energy, I search for jobs that are related to that particular part of electrical engineering, and I see the skills that are available for me to learn. And if these skills are something that I feel like they are not doing now in school, what I do is I spend extra time trying to learn these skills. You have some courses online that you can always get, and you learn the skills. If you have access to a laptop, that's just the best. If you have access to school softwares like AutoCAD Electrical, that's just the best. Work on project, and make sure that you document your work. Make sure that whatever you're working on, you try to document them. You can document them maybe on GitHub. You can document them on LinkedIn. Build a portfolio for yourself. No matter how small your project is, make sure you document your work. So the essence of this is that when you're done with school and you are going out there for someone to employ you, you know that you have something to show. Like if you're saying that, okay, my skill sets include electrical designing, schematic reading, technical documentation, you are able to back it up. You are able to explain, even if you have no maybe record of what you have done, you're able to explain what it actually means. Because most times in technical interviews, they ask stuff like that. They will just surprise you maybe with a circuit. I remember an interview that I actually attended, and one of the technical questions there was a circuit diagram, and they just gave me a circuit and they told me like explain the circuit how it works, or maybe show me a diode here based on the symbol. Show me a diode here, or show me this. Or I mean, they expect you to already know the foundation of this, and they also expect that at least you should know some basic stuff about engineering. And I feel like the only way for you to really know the stuff is to practice on projects, small projects, mini projects. They are okay. They are fine as long as you're doing something. That's engineering nowadays. It's becoming more competitive in a way that if you are not also someone that is putting in the work, it's kind of like a little bit challenging for you to, just get into the job market after graduation. And another thing I would like to say is that if you want to also stand a chance in this engineering world today, one thing you should focus on while studying is internship. You should make sure that you do internships. If you have the opportunity to, you should always apply for internships. Internships gives you the ability, or it gives you the opportunity for you to apply what you already learn in school in real life. You see how it works in real life. I remember my very first internship was in an industrial production setting, and we were doing motor rewinding. And to be honest, I've been studying electrical motors in school, but seeing it how it is rewind in real life, and how you get to apply all the equations that you have been learning in school this time in real life, it was really, really, really amazing. And it also, and one thing it did was it actually gives you a feeling of, oh, I'm an engineer now. I can actually, use what I've learned in school to be able to solve a problem. Also, you get to learn some soft skills like communication. A lot of engineers don't know how to communicate their ideas. A lot. Because most of them are so focused on only building technical skills that they forget that there are also soft skills that are very important for them. You will tell an engineer who has built a project and you say, okay, what is this project about? Some of them have no idea how they can pitch that project. And with the world today, if you're planning to start your own company in future, or build anything for yourself, or even look for a job, pitching your project is very important. Communication is very important. Communication is so important that I don't think that they even talk about it enough. And I think that most universities introduce presentations in school because they want you to be comfortable communicating your ideas to other people. When I was studying chemical engineering here in Finland, one thing that our teachers usually do was that at every project or mini assignments that we have, they usually ask us to do PowerPoint presentations and or explain. Sometimes they will tell us to come up with an idea and pitch that idea to our classmates. So if our classmates, like if they were investors that wants to invest in maybe the company or the idea that we have, they are going to invest. I mean, they make us to have these basic skills so that in future, if you want to start a company for yourself, then you should be able to, communicate your ideas and sell yourself and pitch yourself out there. Another valuable skill that I think an engineer who is looking towards working, getting a good job in the future to master is the ability to work in teams. I recently joined this competition and paired in teams. So I had these team members work with me. And one thing I noticed through our working session was that everyone was actually waiting for one person to do the work, and they had no idea how to work in teams. They kind of like wait for you to do the work before they do it. And that is not really a good way, a practice for teamwork. Teamwork means that you guys bring your ideas together. You're curious enough to listen to other people's opinion about a particular project, and also you have other your own opinions to contribute to that project. So if you have an opinion to contribute, you can always contribute to the project, knowing fully well that you are working in a team. What you say might not always be accepted all the time. Not that it is a wrong opinion or a wrong idea, but because there's a better approach to doing that same thing. So team spirit, teamwork is one skill No, a lot of people say this thing most times, like, oh, when you're applying to job and they ask you, what are your skills? And people tend to say, oh, I have the ability to work in teams, I can properly communicate, I have problem solving skills, I am creative. And in doing so, most of them don't know how to work in teams. Most of them don't know how to communicate. Once you imagine that you're being given an opportunity as a trial to try to work in a small, minute project and you are unable to do that, it's going to be costly. That is why you are saying the university is it's wise that you try to work in groups with friends, you try to attend events if you have the opportunity. When I was studying electrical engineering, we had a lot of organizations, there's a lot of communities that we actually attended. So I attended a lot of communities, and that kind of strengthened my public speaking skills and also allowed me to mentor other people that wanted to join engineering. By doing so, I had leadership skills, I had problem solving skills, I had communication skills, I had teams work, which is a skill as well. So while focusing on the technical skill, also build the soft skills. Engineering needs you to be able to give in time for studies, to be able to, there are a lot of things that are required from you, and we have just 4 years to do that. So that is why people say engineering is difficult. And that's why the reason you decide to join engineering, to study engineering in university, is very, very important. And I would say that if your why is maybe because your family says that engineering is good, so you should go for it, or maybe because your best friend is going into engineering and you feel like, oh, it's a great career path, maybe I can do it with him or her, and then you get into engineering as well. Or maybe because you feel like there's too much money in engineering, so wow, this career has money, I should go for it, and you go for it. Then I think that, well, everyone has a reason for doing what they want to do. But I think with whatever reason you have, another reason should be passion, because you love engineering. So if you think engineering has a lot of money, also include, okay, I love this part of engineering. You shouldn't go for into engineering if you're not someone who love creating. If you're not creative enough, I don't think that you should go into engineering. If you shouldn't go into engineering if you're not someone that loves studying. Because for me, electrical engineering field, one thing where I learned was that you will read. You need to be someone who loves reading to do electrical engineering, honestly. And maybe other fields like software engineering are quite a little bit different, because with the software engineering field, you need more of the practical work than reading. And maybe mechanical engineering too, you need reading. Chemical engineering, for me, it was a mixture of both. But I think majority towards the reading part. So if you're someone that doesn't love learning, then I don't think that you should actually be going into engineering, because the studying doesn't end in school. It continues after school. It continues even after graduation. You still need to continue to learn, especially with the era where technology is continuously evolving. You are continuously looking for ways to solve problems in the areas of maybe artificial intelligence and stuff like that. So studying is a continuous thing, and if you're someone that doesn't like studying, I think it's going to be really difficult for you. So when you're choosing engineering as a career path to go for, you should be able to answer why you're choosing in the first place, and if you actually love it, if you love the career that you're going to go into before you choose engineering. So we have established the fact that engineering is still an amazing career to go for in 2026. And the next thing will be, if you're choosing an engineering career, why are you choosing engineering career? Like, why are you doing it? Your reason matters. Coming from someone who actually went into engineering without knowing why she was going there, I can tell you for sure that the reason you're doing engineering matters a lot than you can even imagine. Engineering is, people say it's a very tough it's a very tough career, especially like in terms of studies. Engineering is difficult. Well, no sugarcoating. Yes, engineering is difficult. Engineering is difficult. I did it twice and I say it's difficult. Well, people, I don't think I've heard of anyone who tells me that engineering was easy in their journey. And when they talk about difficult, it's not even about the maths and the physics. It's about the time that you put into a 4 years program. It's about that time. So now we have established our why we are doing engineering in the first place. I think the next thing to decide on is which particular engineering program you want to study. So I've mentored a lot of students, like I said, and one of the major problems some of them have in the beginning is that no one actually have a certainty of what engineering program they want to study. And as being one of those people too that did not have a certainty of what engineering program I wanted to study, yeah, I could say that it can be really frustrating if you don't know what you want to study. And the idea about this is that if you have no idea of what you want to do and you just get into a random program, most of the times what will happen is while you're in school, you won't be able to decide on the skill set you want to build for yourself. The idea of building your skill and building your career in school, it will be really tough for you. So let me tell you guys a little experience about myself. Into engineering school in 2018 and 2019, which was my second year in engineering. What happened was that I was still in confusion. I had no idea like what I was doing. Trust me, I passed. I was able to pass my first and second semester in engineering because I was someone that is passionate about education, but my GPAs were very low. And I think those were my least GPA till graduation. Those were my least GPAs and they were really, really low. So in my second year, I told myself that I was going to really figure out what I was doing there because everything felt like I was just cramming and reading to go write the exam and pass. So I told myself I was going to figure out what I was actually doing in that field. So in my second year, I started coding. I was an electrical engineering student, and since we have some classes with computer engineering students, like maybe or mathematics classes, physics classes, and C and C++ classes, that's programming, basis of programming. I just thought to myself that okay, I would start learning a skill that would make me feel like I was actually studying engineering. So I started coding. I learned how CSS and HTML because one of my classmates was already making money from this basic skill that they had in CSS and HTML. They were already building web pages and making money out of it. So I told myself that, but wait, my classmates are actually making money out of this thing. If this is something that I could learn, then I'll make money out of it myself. So I started learning HTML and CSS. I started learning HTML and CSS. That's for the third semester in school and fourth semester. I focused on that. I would study in during the day and then come home and learn how to code. I learned how to code with HTML and CSS, and I was even able to build my first web page. But what that got to me was that I had to put in a lot there, and I had a complete drift from my career path, which means that instead of me spending that time learning a career that was learning a skill that was valuable for me and the career I was building, I was learning a skill in software engineering. And guess what? I in my third year that I had already figured out what I wanted for myself, I never applied those skills. I mean, that particular skill. Right now, I don't even know how to code using CSS and HTML, which means that I just wasted, not waste, but I used 1 year of my life that I could focus on building something valuable towards my career goals in future to do something that I knew I wouldn't take. But one thing that taught me was that learning isn't useless, but it's if you can have the opportunity to already know what is valuable for you from the start, it will save you a lot of time from trying out things differently. That is why if you want to study engineering, I think that if you should have a particular career and a particular program that you want to study. I was doing this for the second time when I was studying engineering for the second time in Finland. The difference was that I knew exactly what I wanted for myself as a career. So fast forward to when I was studying chemical engineering in Finland, I already knew what I wanted for myself. So it was kind of easier for me to work on projects. And when you already know what you want, what your career goals are, what you're building, and what the future in engineering seems like, I mean, in terms of which career you're going to pursue, it helps you to decide on which skills to focus on while in school in terms of the subjects and courses because there's a lot of workload and you have a shorter time to learn. So sometimes we might not really, grasp the basics of what it's really needed. So when I was doing this engineering stuff again for the second time, I already knew what I wanted. So I had subjects that I was mostly focused on that were kind of related to my career goal. And it is not like I didn't study the other courses, but I didn't put as much time as I did for the courses that I had chosen for myself that related to what I wanted for myself. That's why it's very important that before you get into any engineering program, you should know what you want. You should know what you want. It helps you a lot to be able to, study properly and select the kind of subject, the kind of courses that you want to focus in. And that's how I was able to do engineering for the second time in 2 years because I already knew what I wanted. So the other courses, I didn't really put much effort. And obviously, engineering is not about getting GPAs. I mean,
trust me, I've actually gotten opportunities to work in companies, both home in Cameroon and abroad. And I can tell you for sure that no single company will ask you for a GPA once you go to apply for a job there. No single company will ask you how many GPAs to graduate in engineering. No one cares. No one really cares, to be honest. So you're in school, the most important thing you should be focusing on is building value for yourself, building a skill set for yourself that is related to what you want for your future, not being too focused on GPA. So instead of just reading to pass exams, you should study to know what you're doing while staying in school. By the way, guys, I came across this video recently, and someone was kind of like giving an argument about which kind of engineering is better, is best. Someone says mechanical engineering, and in my opinion, I think there's nothing like the best type of engineering to study. I feel like you study sometimes based on what you want, because engineering opportunities are affected by location, they're affected by the country, they're affected by a lot of factors. So if you're someone that is skilled enough in a particular field and you find yourself in an environment where that skill is more needed, you will get paid very well, you get a job, you get a good job. And I'm saying that, for example, if you study petroleum engineering in a country where there's petrol and oil, and gas, then you travel to another country where there's no oil and gas, it will be difficult, almost impossible. It will be impossible for you to get an engineering job in that location. Why? Because that skill you have is not needed there. So I don't think there's anything like the best type of engineering. I think it just depends on the location and also the skills and values that you have to offer and what the company is at a particular time, then you go for it. So yeah, if it's something you love, then go for it. So guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that throughout the video, you always aspiring to become an engineer, you're inspired, and you're always in your engineering school already. I hope that this video is going to help you to start learning skills. And I know that a lot of people might still be confused on which particular branch or which particular skill set they should be focused on. So in my next video, I am going to explain the different types of engineering fields that are available, and also different skills or different specialties that you could choose to focus on while you stay in school, to help you build skills while you're staying in school. And guys, please, if this video was valuable to you, please, I want you to subscribe, and so that next time I like upload another video, you'll be the first person to know. And guys, please like and comment if you have any questions regarding engineering, and if you need mentorship, I am always here. So if you need mentorship to decide on which skill set to focus on, you can leave a comment on my comment section in this video, and I will reply you and I'll get to you. So if you need me to mentor you, or you need mentorship in your academics or whatever, I'm always available for that. Thank you guys for watching, and please, you can do share the video to anyone you feel like needs the video. See you guys in my next video. Bye.